Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And some people have linked a video for me, which I covered a couple weeks ago with Mike Thurston. It was my first exposure to him, and I said, I don't know anything else about this guy. I've never seen any of his videos before. I've literally never heard of this guy before in my life. But I thought his video on supplements was pretty decent, decently supported by the science, and it was overall a good video. And I said, just based on that I could appreciate that video without knowing anything else about him. Well, today I got linked a video on the Facebook fan page of him training with BPAK. And I'm going to use that word training in quotations because there was nothing there that resembled training by any definition of the word that any strength and conditioning coach in the world uses. They did some exercising. They didn't train. And this is going to be a little bit more critical because as I'm watching this, and people need to remember, the title of my channel is Strength and Fitness. It's not bodybuilding, physique, or panty competition, right? It's not bikini competition. It's not any of that. This is a strength and fitness channel. That's what we care about. And so if you link me something, I'm going to analyze it from that perspective. And videos like this make me... This is the sort of reason that I tend to be opposed to the entire concept of bodybuilding, that I find the entire idea behind it to be completely absurd. Because what I'm watching here is essentially when people try to train in such a manner, number one, it says, hey, I use a lot of drugs. That's what it says. And I don't know anything about training. Number two, it's kind of saying that I'm trying to gain as much muscle as possible while staying as weak as I possibly can while putting in the same amount of work. It's kind of like a lot of this stuff is an actual effort to try to stay weak and underdeveloped and trying to focus on just trying to make certain muscles grow and hope that nothing else grows. It's just this bizarre mindset that I can't get my head around. Now, some people say, well, Jason, some people are chasing pure hypertrophy. But it's kind of like, that's also like saying, let me throw it into a term a lot of you guys will understand. A lot of people out there are into training because they want to get girls. And that's kind of like saying, well, I purely want to get girls because I want pussy. And it's like, yeah, but if you can get blowjobs too on top of it, as an added bonus, that's a good thing too, right? Don't, would you rather have both? I mean, and that's almost a crude way to put it, but it's almost how you have to refer to stuff like this. If you're going to put in work and go to the gym and sweat and hurt and get tired and everything else, why wouldn't you want to gain other benefits? Like, why would you only want to gain one thing when you could gain multiple things that might actually help you in other situations? It might actually be useful to you. Getting stronger and all of that could have real life benefits. It could even help keep you from getting hurt. It might even improve your quality of life in different ways. It give you a better chance of surviving in certain emergency situations or accidents. Being strong is a good thing. So you see this nonsense, and what do I mean, no strength? Well, not only is it lack of strength, it was just sheer stupidity. It was a lot of mental cues, giving Mike mental cues on machines. You're on a damn machine. You're in a locked plane of motion. Do you really think you need to focus on mental cues? Right, I understand the need for mental cues on big exercises, right? We understand that. It's critical sometimes for getting technique dialed in, for driving through, for getting the most strength, things like that. Because you have multiple big muscles involved. You have to stabilize things. You have bar paths, right? Mental cues matter. They matter a lot. Especially for maintaining certain bar paths, such as, again, on a standing press, putting the cue in of throwing it behind your head, driving your knees out, coming out of the bottom of a squat. There's a lot to these things. But when you're locked into a machine, to seriously focus on mental cues is purely mental masturbation. Furthermore, he started him off with pre-exhaustion. And this kind of goes to show that I don't care what sort of science background that you have. When something is repeatedly studied, and if your only goal, let's say that you don't care about getting a stronger squat, you don't care about being an athlete, you don't care if you're a weak, useless piece of shit who can't even walk as long as you look good, okay? Let's assume that, right? Let's assume that all you care about is hypertrophy and you literally care about nothing else in the world. Like you don't care about any other thing in your life beyond hypertrophy, that everything else in all of existence could go away. Every study that's looked at pre-exhaustion has found that it produced less muscle growth. Not once have I ever seen any reasonable study that suggested that pre-exhaustion was superior for muscle growth in the target muscle, and it is generally associated with less hypertrophy. Let's assume that's all you cared about. He's intentionally, as BPAC is a guy with a science background, is intentionally having do something that we know that study after study has consistently shown produces less muscle growth that came out of the retard bro bodybuilding drug world. That when it's actually studied, it doesn't work. He's having him do a bunch of quad work before, like on a leg extension machine before he does other stuff. Now, before people say, well, that's a warm-up, no, it wasn't a warm-up. That's pre-exhaustion. He had him taking sets beyond failure. He had him taking sets to failure and doing forced reps and stuff. Okay, that's not warming up. That's exhaustion. That's what it is, right? That's reality. Once you have taken any set to failure, to absolute failure, that muscle is going to be less useful for the remainder of your workout. It is going to be capable of producing less force, of doing less work from that point forward, right? So he's already crippled the rest of the workout. You're going to gain less muscle as a result of what he did right up front. That's based upon the scientific literature. Then it's stuff like talking about, oh, well, we're trying to get as much muscle fiber recruitment as we can on every rep. So he's having him like push against it while he's doing the leg extensions. But everything is slow reps. It's like, make up your mind. Are you wanting to do slow reps, or do you want to maximize muscle fiber recruitment? Again, let's go back and look at the data. Studies that look at this find what? How do you get maximum muscle fiber recruitment out of every rep? By moving the weight as quickly as you can with good form. Compensatory acceleration actually beats mind-muscle connection for muscle fiber recruitment in the target muscle. Like if it's just your triceps, your chest, or whatever you're trying to do, your quads. Compensatory acceleration is king. None of it. It was all slow, silly bodybuilding nonsense. Well, you can't maximally recruit muscle fibers with slow movements on every rep. That's not how it works. You need speed to do that, and that is not me saying it. That is multiple studies looking at it, and oftentimes these studies are conducted by people who are themselves bodybuilders, who are researchers, who are looking into it. Successful bodybuilders at that. So, again, total nonsense. And all I watched was slow movements, force reps, pre-exhaustion, silly-ass machine exercises, and discussing mental cues on machines. Where was the actual training? Like, how can you even use the word train in there when there was no discussion of progression? There was no discussion of long-term outcomes? That's not training. That's just going in and exercising. What's the difference between training and exercise? Exercise is where you go into the gym for an immediate gratification. You want to burn. You want to work hard. You want to get sweaty. That is exercising. Training is a planned progression spread out over time with specific outcomes programmed in. In other words, you have an actual game plan to specifically what you are trying to do and how you plan on achieving it. And it involves the numbers and all of that in your actual workout from workout to workout. Training is how you change and what you do from workout to workout in order to ensure that you get the specific outcome that you plan in the long term. There was no planning. There was no progression. It was just coming in and doing silly, hard work on machines. It was literally garbage. There was nothing valuable that I or anyone else is going to see from this. It's of any use for gaining muscle, gaining strength, or anything else of use to you. I was completely unimpressed by the video. I was completely unimpressed by the sheer lack of knowledge regarding even exercise science in this video. It was all bro nonsense. And I mean mental cues on machines, pre-exhaustion, force reps on machines on small movements before you do big movements. Come on. Just wow. Complete waste of time. Terrible video. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.